Ntlantla Kgatlhane is standing by. He's right here in Midrand, in fact just below us on the floor, and he'll be standing by to speak to some of the party delegates. Ntlantla, if you can hear me, good evening. I dare say good evening at this point because I know that we're operating on a different clock. But what's happening on your end? You're standing by with some of the party delegates. What are the sentiments being echoed, as we're sitting at about 41.12% of that tallies of the national ballots that have been tallied thus far?
Yes, well, indeed, Liesl, coming to you right here from the floor, where a lot of political parties are glued to the screen as the results keep on coming. I mean, it would be very interesting, Liesl, to just, get into their mind without even speaking to them, just to get an opportunity to see and feel what they are thinking, especially after they went throughout the country crisscrossing campaigning, urging South Africans to vote for them. I mean, we know a lot of them are very confident saying that, come election time, the results will be different, giving that perception that they will be win. But with me, I'm with a couple of political parties. One of them is the spokesperson from the DA, Mr. Malach. Just talk to us since you arrived. I know that you're very tired now. Are you happy with how things are going?
We are absolutely happy with the picture that is emerging based on the results that are out to this stage. It shows that we are going to have a positive growth for the DA in this election, and it is one of the things that we were projecting and anticipating in terms of our own tracking polls. It shows that we are going to be one of the three parties that will grow in this election. It shows that we are going to win back some of the support that we lost in 2019, and more interestingly, we are going to be seeing growth, particularly amongst black voters, amongst the middle class for the DA, which is an encouraging step for us in this election.
One of the things that you guys projected, obviously, was that you're going to emerge victorious. I know it's still early. Do you still have that confidence that, as the counting continues and the capturing of the data collected by the IEC after the voting, that you will, emerge victorious? Are you still confident?
Look, there were two positions that we held coming into this election. One was that we would be able to retain the Western Cape because it's a very important avenue of governance for us, and that we needed to grow and collectively with the parties in the multi-party charter, that if we all grew, we would stand a strong chance of getting into the 50+1 and be able to set up a government. It looks like that scenario is unlikely to happen based on the picture that is emerging here. So one of the things that will happen upon the declaration of the official results is that the multi-party charter will convene and have a conversation about how the multi-party charter goes forward based on the results that would have emerged.
Well, thank you so much. That was the A spokesperson, Solomon Malachi. I'm going to bring Themba Godi here, the leader of the APC. Themba Godi, thank you so much for your time. Looking at the numbers, are you happy?
Look, today is more about takeoff. Are we taking off like a bullet, or are we taking off slowly? And I think the numbers there indicate a slow takeoff. And interestingly, by late afternoon, when we were looking at the results that have come in, we're a little bit comforted in the knowledge that when we look at Limpopo, Mpumalanga and Gauteng, the core areas where we campaigned, the results had not yet come in. So today, we're concerned about pace, but not concerned about fate.
Thank you so much. I'm going to bring Azapo. Thank you so much for your time. The last time you guys were in Parliament was 2009, post the elections. Yeah. You guys have been struggling. Yeah. We saw your visibility on the ground during the campaigning. Yes. Looking at the numbers, are you certain that you guys would at least get a seat or something? Yeah,
look, we with the amount of work that we have put in these elections, we are still optimistic. We think that it is still early now to pass a judgment. We will wait until all the votes have been counted. We have been very busy on the ground, and we have been campaigning on our 12-point program. which number one, that least that is a question of land, and we also pushing the abolition of provinces, which everybody knows, I think, knows ASAPO for that position, that the provincial governments are actually the impediment towards the delivery of services, because of most of the resources, they end up in the middle layer of government. So as ASAPO, those are the issues that we're pushing coming to this election, and we think that our message resonates with people. However, we know that if you don't have money in this country to run the elections, your chances are very slim. So yeah, but we think that our people get our message, and they will try to return us back into parliament.
You say that your message resonates with people. I know it's still early with regards to the result. The counting is still continuing. But looking at numbers, it tells a different story. I know that it's still early, but if it resonates, you would see huge numbers.
It's true. Much as yes, it resonates with people, but our government has created a dependency syndrome, and our people are depending on, it's like a welfare government. Our people are depending on this government for grants and every other thing. So I think there is that a fear of the unknown, that if we change, bring somebody into power, we might lose these small crumbs that they are putting on the table for them. So probably that might be an issue. However, they do accept our message, but then when it comes to the practicalities of the matter, it's a different story altogether. So when they go there and vote, they might vote differently. However, they hear our message. So it's just about time. Maybe this will be our last elections performing so bad. Coming the other elections, people will read to see through the government, that this government actually doesn't have their interest at heart.
One last question for me. Are you guys happy in terms of how things are going thus far?
No, we are not. We cannot be happy. We cannot be happy. But comparatively speaking, to the past election in 2019, to this time, we were somewhere around 1,000, 2,000, and now we are at 5,000. We are getting to 6,000. So we think that there is a little bit improvement, comparatively speaking. We're judging from our performance of the 2014 elections.
Thank you so much. Let me just talk to COPE a bit. You guys, leading up to elections, had serious challenges, internal challenges. Do you believe that that could have been, one of the reasons why we are seeing you guys performing like this thus far?
Yeah, South Africans made their own decisions, and our performance is based on exactly what has happened that has hurt us internally. That we must acknowledge, that we had some internal challenges, but as we speak now, it's just water under the bridge. So we can't just keep crying on spilled milk. So we have to make sure that we consolidate and then forge forward and build the party anew. That is exactly the direction that we'd like to take.
One thing when you talk about acknowledging, one thing that comes to one's mind is that if you guys fail to get a seat, what would happen? We know that your leader is saying that, it's time that you would give somebody a chance.
Yeah, immediately after these elections, we are going to sit down. We're going to sit down and come up with the reasons what really went wrong and what went right, and how to make sure that we correct the wrongs and how to strengthen the right. And then how do we plan for the next one, A hunter, when he goes into the field to hunt, you have aspirations that you'll come up with something. And then sometimes when you go into the field and then you don't come up with anything, it doesn't mean you don't go to hunt tomorrow. So it is the same direction that Congress of the People will have to take, even if we may not have a seat, of which I'm sure that we will be having a seat. But what I can tell is that we'll still continue to make sure that, we build the organization, because we have a vision of exactly what South Africa should be, and South Africans are going to get a buy-in. South Africans can only buy in if you're united as a party, and if the leadership has a one common vision. So, and that is exactly what is happening now. COPE went through various stages of organizational development. There is forming, there is storming, and then there is performing, and then there is, all those other stages. So the first stage we went through of forming. The second stage, that is storming, whereby, we had doubts on one another, and then now we are at the stages of performing. So, and you can see that people are saying COPE has no leadership, but that's where they are wrong. COPE has groomed its own leaders. At first, COPE depended on the leaders from other parties because it did not have its own leaders. But now we have our own leaders that we have produced from branches up until national. And they are going to take over COPE from Ntlantla Kgatlhane when he hands over the baton.
Are you happy with how things are going?
There are quite a number of bad things that would identify. One, the performance of the IEC leaves much to be desired. With people who had to stand all these bad weathers because of long queues and all those the scanners not working and all those are some of the things that we'll have to highlight. And then again, as a political party, what we can reflect on is the way things that are going. We would have loved to be at the top, leading all these other parties. But unfortunately, fortune favors the bravest, so unfortunately, this is what is happening. But at least it's a lesson taught to us to say, COPE, stop your infighting. COPE, concentrate on building yourselves. And then people will still come to us and say, you are good leaders. At least you can acknowledge the challenges that you're faced with, and then from there you can build and lead the people of South Africa.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. You heard it there. A lot of political parties, some still confident that after the counting or the capturing of the data here, they will still remain in parliament. I mean, Lisa, it's going to be quite interesting, to see these political parties like COPE, AZAPO. If you remember, AZAPO has not been in parliament for since 2014. It will be very interesting to see, especially with these ones, how they are going to perform, in 7 days with regards to, how South Africans would have received their messages. You know that AZAPO has partnered with the PAC in their campaign as it was coming to the election day. But it remains to be seen in terms of how, these smaller parties, old parties are going to perform as the results continue to come over. With that being said, it's back to you in studio.
Thanks, Ntlantla. We're obviously going to get the latest as the evening and the morning progresses. We're definitely burning the midnight oil here. Thank you very much for that update, and thank you very much for tuning in.